Hello
Hello, everyone.
everyone! Okay, today we're gonna talk about the money, especially how to manage the finance as a couple. Because think about it, as a single, it's really difficult to manage our own finance as well. But as a couple, it's gonna be much difficult because everybody's from different background and live together and share all the money they spend together. So today we're gonna talk about how we can accomplish our the common goal as a couple, so that we can have the happy life together. So yeah, so if you're gonna interested in our video today, then please subscribe our channel and like our video. And let's start.
So, number one, tracking your expenses and incomes whatsoever. Tracking your entire financial situation. Why is it important? Well, it's important because you should know how much you're making, and then again, how are you spending that money? And a lot of people might think that, okay, I make comfortable, let's say 5,000 a month, but you have also a lot of fixed expenses, such as mortgage payments or rent. Some people have bought cars with the car loan. And these are that kind of elements that you just simply have to pay every month. It's not up to you anymore. So your disposable income after these fixed expenses is getting a lot lower. And especially if you're not making that much, then even smaller purchases that you think that, hey, at least I'm making quite okay money. Well, it's not like that. You don't have necessarily that much of room in your spending because of large number of all kind of fixed costs. And also it's very good to know that where do you actually spend the money. And when you follow your spending behavior, you will at least start to pay a little bit more attention that what do you buy. And sometimes you can see things that you weren't maybe thinking before. Some kind of habits can turn out to be very expensive, like going out to eat, for example. That's easily tens of euros at a time. In Finland, that's maybe like close to 100 euros if you want to have something else than McDonald's.
Too expensive.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it might not feel that bad to buy like a 10 euro beer after work, but if you end up buying more of those and then on a monthly basis, that's easily hundreds of euros. And on an annual basis, then thousands. But make it a habit. Do it in an easy way that immediately after you buy something, you track that down that, okay, today I spent this much on money on these kind of things. And how are we doing that? Well, I have created my own Excel template that I have on my OneDrive, so it's accessible by phone, and I'm tracking the expenses through around how much? Maybe 20 different categories, all kind of necessary expenses, and then those kind of not so necessary, like alcohol, clothing, soft drinks, eating outside, any kind of free time or leisure activities.
But then, okay, we're tracking our expenses through the Excel. But if you're not familiar to Excel, I mean using Excel or the other kind of program, then you can just have all the time the receipts at least, so that you can kind of when you came back to home before going to sleep, just look through all the receipts that you had, and then you can just write on your notebook. That's also quite helpful.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that all your tables are full of receipts. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna do it on the weekend. And during the weekend, you want to do something else.
No. So it has to be like a habit. Like every day before going to sleep, you can categorize like kind of food or clothing, and then you can track your habits. then you can just write down on your notes.
But anyway, the point is kind of making it that kind of part of your life, like brushing your teeth. It's nothing extraordinary. You just do it.
So like you can know, at least you can know where you're spending most of the time. Then, oh, okay, I'm gonna reduce this part. I'm gonna, so you can actually save the money.
Moving on to the next part, which is budgeting. And what would be good to do is that you should together try to forecast a little bit of your expenses. What are the things that are coming next month? I need to survive through this and this and this and these payments, and then you have maybe this much left after those. But it's something that you should be doing together. Try to really think that, okay, where do we need the money? And the point is also that you commit to the budget. No matter if there is something nice coming up on the stores and a good discount, you don't need that. You can postpone that. Just stick with the budget. Or otherwise, it doesn't really matter if you do a budget because you don't really follow that. Of course, it's a different thing if there is some kind of so-called emergency. But most of these emergencies are maybe more or less excuses to get what you want or get the good deal. Or you're just lazy and you don't want to cook home. So you opt to go out for pizza or something else.
But I mean, for budgeting, like every month, end of the month, you can just plan for the next month, the money, how you can spend, the amount, the money together.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, and then actually we can anticipate that, okay, that month we have some kind of like a birthday or some kind of anniversary. We already anticipate that, that day. It's like family events or something like that, So, like, always we're saying that, okay, it's kind of like emergency. It's kind of excuses. It can be. So, of course, there's real emergency situation, but at least you already anticipate that what's going to happen that month. So, through that, you can budgeting, like, your next
to be
month.
fair, like, we easily tend to think that, okay, like, I pay off the rent or mortgage payment. I will spend maybe a couple of hundred on food and I have a ton of money left. But you will actually notice that when you start tracking that where the money goes, that a lot of most of the expenses are something that is not really necessary. And just as a fun fact, we spent less than 2,000 euros in 2019 for food. But on traveling, close to 9,000 euros, which is totally okay. It's our choice. But just saying that it's easy to spend the money, but once you start to track that, it's also easier to budget that because you know that how much you spent last month and you thought that last month there is nothing extraordinary coming, but yet still we spent a huge amount of money on something.
Yeah.
And that's why if you really want to manage your money in a smart way, then you should do reasonable and realistic budgets and stick to them. It doesn't matter if somebody calls you that let's go to check out that new restaurant, or there is no higher force that is going to tell you that you have to go. You can just simply not go. At least it's not any kind of issue for me to to avoid that kind of situations.
And move on. Third part, like how to actually split the expenses as a couple.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might be struggling with this part, and it happens that we are not living in a completely fair world, meaning that there is very often some kind of disparities in terms of salaries, that how much are the partners making. And a lot of time it is that the men counterparty makes more money and the women might be making maybe less money. But in a relationship, none of these things should really matter. I mean, it's you two together that should handle everything. And I think that it's, well, how to say? And you have to be fair. You cannot expect that, okay, we're going to pay 50-50 everything just because, I mean, it doesn't really work that way. So either you can split the expenses in proportion to your combined income. Let's say the other one is making 2,000, the other one is making 4,000. Combined earnings are 6,000. So the one who makes 2,000 contributes 33% to the expenses, and the one making 4K contributes 66%. But of course, we have also the individual spending behavior that should be taken into account. At least I don't think that I should be held responsible for someone else's decisions that they do. If it's not something that they really want, they really need, if it's something that you want, then I think that you should be paying for that. So let's say that I want to buy a new car. Should I be like, hey, it's just 40,000 euros. 20K. Okay. 주세요. 그치?
Yeah.
I have to pay the 40,000. Or maybe car is not so great idea because we're both using that, but you get the drill. If it's clothing or something, I don't know, a new phone, or you just well,
for example, like a luxury bag. Oh, I need my luxury bag. Then I can buy it. Or like, oh, I need like really luxury watch. Then you can buy it.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But that kind of expenses that you're ultimately sharing together as a couple, like living costs, food, traveling, all these kind of basic things, and utilities, then maybe you can check that part, somehow share that in a fair way. And if you both like to spend the same way, I mean, both are somehow hassling with money or both are very strict about the way they use, then one viable option is that you just simply follow up that, okay, at the end of the month we had saved together 4,000 euros, and then we split it 50-50. So that at the end of the month, both have saved equal amount, no matter how much you have earned individually. But a lot of times when you think that how should we maybe deal with these kind of things, you can always think that if you would be the opposing, I mean, just put the situation around. Okay, what if I would be making more money than that person? Then would I be okay with this approach? Or if I would be the one who makes less money, then would it be okay for me? I mean, just think that what is fair for your partner, and that's gonna take you very far.
And the most important thing is also kind of transparency.
Absolutely.
Yes. Right?
Yeah. That's why we're always every month going through together that, okay, how much we actually spent.
Yeah.
What's the budget for the next month? And if I have some good investment proposals, then I'm always running them by you. I need your approval on those things. And it's just something that is good to do together. No need to make too big number out of that, but then again, it feels weird if somebody doesn't want to be open and transparent about these kind of things, even to their partner.
Kind of, I always talk as a joke, like, your money is my money and my money is my money, and even vice versa. So
I
it's like
happen-
kind of like
I hear the first one a lot more.
but anyway, like my money is his money is my money, because we're like couple, a married couple. We have like our own family. So in that sense, transparency is really nice, and it's also connect to our next point, like long-term planning as well. Can you tell me, like,
Yeah, so
yeah,
maybe in the short term, when people talk about managing their money, they are just focusing on that, okay, I need to reduce my spending. But you can also think that point in the long term view that, okay, if you want to save more, you just simply have to make more. So at least just as much effort should be put on developing your own professional knowledge and area so that you can make more money. And are there any other alternative ways to make more money? Can you have some kind of side job? How much can you make money from investments? And all these kind of things. But anyway, you should always be realistic. If you're now 25, 30 and you think that I should have that kind of nice condo someday, then you kind of have to lay down the path to your goals. You are not going to wake up some morning just that, oh, I can finally afford that house. No, it's not gonna happen unless you make that to happen.
Yeah.
So that's why it's an important topic.
yeah,
But okay, ultimately, it's not like money is the most important thing in the world. No, you just have to manage it that way that you don't need to think about it every day. And what's the real purpose of like money, at least from my perspective? It's just that you simply need it for your life. Don't make it too big number. And a lot of things that you want comes through money. But money should not be any kind of priority. It's hard to go for a family travel if you don't have money. It's not the idea that, okay, I need to just have more money and more money and more money. But ultimately, you should have a happy life. So that's the idea of managing your own wealth in a smart way. Yeah, I think that's what I had in my mind.
So far we're talking about like how to manage the money as a couple. So to sum up, first, like track your expenses. Second, like budgeting, and third, like how to actually like split the expenses together, and finally long-term planning. We talk about how we're doing most of the time for this video. But then if you have any other good idea, then just let us know. So comments there. And if you like our video that or agree our opinion, then please like the button or like subscribe our channel as well. And maybe next time we're gonna challenge for 1 month. We can survive like 500 euro. So stay tuned our channel. Thank you. See ya.
Bye bye.